broadcaster, what are your thoughts about this? The Jets on Hard Knocks.
As a broadcaster, I'm excited for it. This team. It's a perfect equation. I think the NFL kind of fell into this perfect storyline with the Jets. You got so many different characters. Aaron Rodgers coming to New York. That's a big storyline. You got all-pro D tackle Quinnen Williams going through a contract negotiation. There's star power. There's a lot of characters on the team. I think this is going to be great for the league.
The focus is obviously going to be Aaron Rodgers, right? I mean, now, however they play that, whatever Rodgers' involvement is, but it's got to be a little bit about Zach Wilson. It's the second pick in the draft, and you mentioned it. There are dudes on that team. The wide receiver, Garrett Wilson, terrific. There are dudes on that team. So this is about as exciting as I think Hard Knocks could possibly, or an exciting a group as Hard Knocks could possibly have gotten.
Oh, yeah. And the Jets have aspirations. They're talking about Super Bowl. They're talking about winning the AFC East. There's a ton of players on this team. And the story of Zach Wilson is a great one because he's a second pick overall, a guy who's underachieved. He's had some questions about his character, and now you're going to get a close-up view of how he works, how his teammates treat him, the behind-the-scenes look. And, to look at all these guys, all these characters on the team, Sauce Gardner, who's a prolific player on the defensive side. You got Garrett Wilson, who's a Rookie of the Year as well. So there's a ton of star power on this lineup. It's going to be great for the league. I'm not sure the Jets are so happy about it because not a lot of teams have success after being on Hard Knocks. They've done it once before. Hopefully this is going to turn the tide and they'll be the outlier and be that team that has success with Hard Knocks in their building.
All right. I want you to take you back to being a player. A couple years ago, the Colts had Hard Knocks first time in the building in the season. All right, Erik, as a former coach, I would ask, all right, is it distracting? And everybody, no. During the season, everybody, no. And I told my radio audience, wait till next year and we'll get the truth. So you know what happened? The season's over. The next year, I would ask the same people, was Hard Knocks a distraction? Oh, man, I'm so glad those cameras are out of there. I'm so damn, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like having it's having a camera everywhere you go. You have to watch what you say because you never know what's going to be displayed on the television. Your mother, your grandmother could see it. Opponents can look at different things. So I'm sure it's a big distraction. And one thing that all coaches and organizations hate are distractions. They'll get rid of a player if he's somewhat of a distraction. And having a camera crew follow you around every aspect of your life, it's a big distraction. And it definitely does not help your team gaining an advantage.
Well, I want to ask you this because I had a couple of guys. One, Jack Doyle. We were at an event together. I'm like, "Hey, Jack, I don't see you much on Hard Knocks." He's like, "Yeah, I'm just staying the hell out of the way." Right? And then there's other guys that are out front trying. Darius or Shaq Leonard was out front. He wanted everybody. How would you have been as a player? Which side of that pendulum would you have been on?
Oh, I would have definitely been staying out of the way. It was funny because, when we have our games, guys would be mic'd up. And as soon as someone is mic'd up, it's like, oh, they're like the feds coming into the building. You want to make sure you stay away from them. You don't want to be caught on camera saying anything. And you kind of, it's like, oh, he's mic'd up. Make sure you stay away from him when you're telling stories. So I would be a guy who is probably out of the way. I'm not really an attention seeker. There are a lot of characters on each team. There's always that attention seeker where the cameras come around. They look up at the camera, and now they start yelling at everybody, giving them a pep talk because the cameras are around. So there's plenty of those. I'm definitely not one of them. I'm staying out of the way.
I would have stayed. Hey, I'd have stayed in the damn corner. I would have hoped they didn't follow me because some of the stuff I was up to when I played before cameras, I didn't need that on camera. Nothing. I would be over here. I'm telling you. All right, let me go to this though. Last thing. You look at the Jets, and Aaron Rodgers comes in. You mentioned Sauce Gardner. They have, like here in Indy, we overpaid a left guard. We pay linebacker. You guys pay playmakers. My contention is you got to have playmakers in modern NFL. You better have someone that is a corner. You better have a pass rusher. You better have playmaker wide receivers. Now you got a quarterback. in your mind, what is realistic? What should expectations be against what they are?
Well, I think in reality, the Jets can definitely make a wild card run. And once you get into the tournament, depending on how they're playing, they can get hot. I was a part of an Atlanta Falcons team that lost to Aaron Rodgers, who was on a wild card, who they barely got in the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers got hot. They ended up going through the league and winning the Super Bowl. So if the Jets can just get into the tournament, let's take one step at a time. I know they have aspirations of winning the AFC East, but there are some tough teams in the AFC East. Buffalo is continuing to get better. Miami's gotten better. And the talks about DeAndre Hopkins going to the Patriots is going to make New England better. So it's going to be a bloody, battered division, whoever makes it out of the AFC East. If the Jets can just make it out, make that playoff run, get into the tournament, I think they'll give themselves a great opportunity.
Your expectations are far less than what I'm reading from fans and writers and things like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, you get Aaron Rodgers, and on paper, it makes sense. You have a great defense, a top 10 defense, and you look at last season, I believe I read a stat where if the Jets offense would have scored 21 points a game, they would have went like 15-2. The defense is that good. The offense was that bad last year. They didn't put up any points. They turned over the ball quite a bit. The defense was out on the field a lot. So having a quarterback in the fold is going to help this team exponentially. And on paper, it sounds great, but that division is just so difficult.